sections, we have studied some methods of assigning probability to an event associated with an experiment in which we know the number of total outcomes. Now, here we are going to study another way of describing probability, an approach that follows certain axioms or rules to assign probability. Based on these rules, we can easily solve the probability problems, and this is called the axiomatic approach to probability. Here, before understanding the rules, we already know that probability means the number of favorable outcomes by total number of outcomes. So, this probability value can be between 0 and 1. If you consider any random experiment, we can have the sample space, and based on the sample space, we can have events. So, the probability of an event will be between 0 to 1. That means it is greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 1. This is the first rule related to probability. So, here it is given 0 less than or equal to probability of omega less than or equal to 1. For each omega is the outcome of the experiment. Now, let us consider the second rule. Here we have the sample space omega 1, omega 2 up to omega n. These are the outcomes of the experiment. Here, the probability value of the sample space is always equal to 1. This can be taken by adding the probability values of all the outcomes. Now, we have the third rule. For any event A, the probability of A will be equal to summation probability of omega for all omega belong to A. That is, let us say we have an event A with 4 outcomes omega 1, omega 2, omega 3, omega 4. Then to define the probability of the event, we can add the probability of outcomes of this event. That is, P of A will be P of omega 1 plus P of omega 2 plus P of omega 3 plus P of omega 4. Now, let us verify these rules one by one by considering various examples. So, we have the first rule which says that the probability of an event is between 0 to 1. So, now we have taken an experiment of rolling a die. The die consists of 6 sides. Based on that, we have how many outcomes? We have 6 outcomes. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, this is a sample space of the experiment. Now, consider 2 events. Event 1 getting even number. So, here we have 3 even numbers, that is 2, 4 and 6. So, for this event, we can have the value A equal to 2, 4, 6. Now, let us find the probability of A, which will be equal to number of favorable outcome by total number of outcome. So, in this experiment, we have total outcomes of 6, and for this event, we have the outcome is 3. So, the probability of this event will be 3 by 6, which will be equal to 1 by 2. Similarly, consider another event getting a number greater than 6. So, in this case, for this event, we don't have any outcomes, because in this experiment, we have the values only up to 6. So, here B is a null set, and the probability of B, we can write it as 0 by 6, which will be equal to 0. So, you can observe in these 2 events, the value is in between 0 and 1. In the second event, the value is 0, which is not a negative number, or it's not a number greater than 1. So, from this we can say that the probability of an event is always between 0 and 1. It may be equal to 0 or it may be equal to 1, but it cannot be a negative number or it cannot be greater than 1. Understood? Now, let us see the second example, and by using this example, we will understand the second rule. So, the second rule says that the probability of a sample space is 1, and that we can get it by adding the probability values of all the outcomes. So, here we have taken an experiment of tossing a coin twice. So for this experiment, we can have how many outcomes? 4 outcomes. So our sample space will be HH, HT, TH and TT. Now for this, let us find the probability of each outcome. See, the probability of HH is nothing but the chance of occurrence of this particular outcome. And the chance of occurring HH is only 1. So the number of favorable outcome is 1 and we have total of 4 outcome. So the probability of HH will be 1 divided by 4, that is 1 by 4. Similarly, P of HT will be 1 by 4. P of TH is also 1 by 4 and P of TT will also be equal to 1 by 4. Now we can verify this rule, right? So the probability of S will be adding all the probabilities of an outcome. So we have total 4 outcome. On adding these probability, we have 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4 plus 1 by 4. We get the value as 1. Hence, the second rule is also satisfied. Next, we can discuss one more example and from that we can understand the third rule. So here comes the third rule. It is related to the event. We can find the probability of an event by adding the probabilities of the outcomes of an event. If A is an event and P of A will be equal to summation P of omega I, where omega is nothing but different outcomes of the event. Here also we have taken the same experiment of rolling a die. In this case, we have 6 outcomes. Already we have seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let us discuss an event of getting odd numbers. So we have 3 probabilities. What are the probability? A will be 1, 3, 5. Now we have to find the probability of this A. So probability of event A is nothing but sum of the probability of the outcome of that event. So in this event we have 3 outcomes. So P of A can be written as P of 1 plus P of 3 plus P of 5. Now see, the chance of occurring 1 is only once. So P of 1 will be 1 by 6. Now similarly 3 and 5, it can be occur only once. So again the probability will be 1 by 6. So total we get 1 plus 1 plus 1 by 6, which is equal to 3 by 6, and the final answer is 1 by 2. This is how we can calculate the probability of an event. Now we can look how to compute a probability of equally likely outcomes. Here also a very good way to understand this is by looking the outcomes of throwing a die. Assume a die is thrown. What will be the possible outcomes? You will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a sample space. And here's the first question. What is the probability of getting 1? Here 1 occurs only once. So the probability of 1 is 1 by 6. Here this next question. What is the probability of getting a 3? Any idea? There is only again one way we get 3. So the probability of getting a 3 is also 1 by 6. Since the probabilities of these 2 events are the same, we can say these 2 events are equally likely. Let's look at another question. What will be the probability of getting an even number? There are 3 even numbers in the sample space. As you can see, 2, 4, 6. So at one throw, we can have any of these 3 even numbers. So the probability will be 3 by 6. Similarly, if I ask you the question, the probability of getting an odd number. Here also there are 3 odd numbers, 1, 3, 5. So the probability of getting odd number is also nothing but 3 by 6. That is, these 2 events are equally likely. It means if we throw a die once, the likelihood of getting an even number is same as the likelihood of getting an odd number. So, the probability of equally likely outcome in Chandwell is explained by considering the sample space of an experiment as omega 1, omega 2 up to omega n, then let all the outcomes are equally likely to occur. That means the chance of occurrence of each simple event must be same. Then the probability of each event is P. Since the sum of all probabilities of events will be equal to 1. Now adding this P n times. So we get it as n into P is equal to 1, or we get P is equal to 1 by n. Now we are going to discuss about probability of event A or event B, where A and B are two events associated with a random experiment. So the probability of event A or B is represented by the probability of A union B, which will be equal to probability of event A happening plus probability of event B happening minus probabilities of both the events A and B happening together. Our P of A union B equation, same equation. Now, let's see one example to understand. This is to find the probability of drawing a 5 or a heart from a deck of 52 cards. So, we know the formula of event A or B is nothing but probability of event A plus probability of event B minus probability of A and B, both events happening together. So for this particular question, we want to know the probability of 5 or a heart. Now, we know that there are 4 5s in a deck of 52 cards. So the probability of A will be 4 out of 52. Now, how many hearts are there? There are 13 hearts. So the probability of event B is nothing but 13 by 52. And finally, we want to subtract the probability of both happening together. And how many cases are there? There is only 1 5 in heart. So the probability of both events happening together will be 1 by 52. So on solving, we get P of A union B as 16 by 52, which is equal to 4 by 30. Next, we need to learn about probability of event not A. If we know the probability of an event, we can determine the probability that the event will not occur. The probability of event not A is represented by complement of event A. So, the probability is defined as probability of not A, which is equal to 1 minus probability of event A. Now, here is a question based on this. If you choose one card from a deck of 52 cards, find the probability that you don't take the queen. Let's see the solution. In a deck of 52 cards, we have 4 queens. So, there is a 4 by 52 chance that you choose a queen, right? This is a probability of even picking a queen is 4 by 52. Now, if you want to find the probability of that event not occurring, all we have to do is subtract the probability of queen occurring from 1. So, we can write it as P of not queen is equal to 1 minus P of queen. So, we get it as 1 minus 4 by 52 and we get it as 48 by 52, and on simplifying we get the final answer as 12 by 30. So, this is all about the axiomatic approach to probability and about calculating the probabilities of events on different bases. Now, let's do a quick recap of the entire section.
Manorama Horizon, learning made simple.